Xi'an is the most suspicious character in the Four Knights of the Apocalypse to date, and honestly, it is incredibly obvious that he has some sort of sinister or self-centered motives from the last 5 or so chapters. And I gotta say, the evidence is piling up to the fact that, is he actually a traitor? Or is he just that self-important in his own beliefs? We'll get into that in a second, but before we get into the actual video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. I want this channel to reach 2K subscribers soon, as the subscriber count has been getting fairly large lately, and I'm honestly incredibly excited. When Xi'an was first introduced in chapter 53, we all kind of got this type of suspicious nature and just overall suspicion for this guy's character. If we think back, the second that he looked at Percival being chased by Isolde, he immediately jumped to, let's attack this guy. Since he has this dragon handle, he most likely has the power of a Chaos Knight, and he's probably an enemy. Jump out to the next chapter. Percival is also trying to explain the very same situation. Chion uses a sylph, a wind spirit, to drain the air out of the area surrounding Percival so that he could not speak, as well as drain his breath. But that didn't work out for Xi'an so much, as since Percival grew up in an area with such a low atmosphere, it didn't really affect his breathing and movements too much to go back to the atmosphere, but it did ruin his ability to speak. However, the second Percival ended up activating his powers, the sylph disappeared, and he began to say that he is an ally, or something like that he was brought here by the king. But Xi'an wasn't having any of it, and right as he was trying to explain, he got Jade to kind of block Percival's view of the world. Got Percival's head trapped in a orb of darkness so he couldn't see, and to make it so he couldn't fight. And Xi'an always had this suspicious look on his face. And as we kept going, he essentially automatically assumed that Percival's friends were Knights of Chaos as well, in order to essentially kill them. And when Tristan arrived to the scene and sees what Xi'an is doing to Percival's friends, having the very air that they breathe being sucked out of them, he orders him to stop, and when he does, he just like, damn, and then he releases it. And then when we get to him explain the situation to Tristan, we get two valuable points of information. One, Xi'an was lying about not knowing about anything and for jumping to conclusions, as stated by An in the chapter after she realizes that he is hiding something. And the very key important piece of information that was stated in chapter 56, it was that Xi'an was notified by Meliodas that the dragon handle was taken by an ally to them thanks to Gother, and so the suspicion kept piling off of Xi'an. And in the recent chapters, we got even more information to back this up, as in chapter 58, Xi'an basically admits to Tristan and Jade that he believes they don't need the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, that himself and Tristan, their group, is enough to handle whatever it is that come at them. He obviously has a very overinflated ego, but he just doesn't see the importance of this prophecy. And even so, he goes off on his own, with Tristan and Jade now noticing him leaving when he notices Gawain in the distance. And then he goes off to trap Gawain in a private area where no one can see, so that he, in his words, can kill him. Xi'an is out for blood from what we've seen from the previous chapters. During the misunderstanding, he took this opportunity. Okay, they don't know what this is. I know that the dragon handle was taken by one of our allies, but I also don't believe in the Four Knights. And perhaps I can get in good graces with Tristan and the King if I just fudge the truth a bit, saying that it was taken back by Knight of Chaos, and that the Tristan Brigade managed to take it back. That's a possible line of thought for him. As we've stated, he doesn't put his faith in prophecies, he only believes in himself, but also corrects himself to say himself and what he believes in. So what could he believe in? well, it could very well be Tristan himself. If this could be elaborated on in the future Seven Deadly Sins movie Grudge of Edinburgh Parts 1 and 2, as it is supposed to be a 2-part movie with Tristan as the protagonist, for all we know, we'll get key pieces of information for Xi'an and why he, more or less, him and the whole group, worship and respect Tristan so much, outside of him essentially being the Prince of Leonis. And he could very much revere Tristan as his own hero or his ideal, and he'll do anything to preserve that and take out anything that questions his own beliefs. Now let's go into the other potential thing, is Tristan a traitor to Leonis? Because the major thing is that he knew about Percival, he knew about the dragon handle, and he still goaded on Isolde and Jade to take down Percival and his crew so that they could essentially, supposedly take out a member of Chaos and retrieve something that was stolen from them. There was also a piece of information given to us that the dragon handle was in fact in Leonis, but it was mysteriously stolen from them at some point in time without anybody noticing. Add that together with the fact that Meliodas told Xi'an what Gother told him, that Lancelot is on the way with a member of the Four Knights, as well as the fact that they retrieved the dragon handle. Now, if the previous idea that Xi'an doesn't believe in the prophecy and just believes himself, his friends and Tristan to be enough, then he could see that this whole prophecy, the fact that all this was everything was just set up, and he just doesn't want to accept it, making it feel like himself and his friends, his crew, are worthless in the eyes of the king, or in the vastness of the world, as he just views himself as so self-important. But it's also the fact that the prophecy from Bartra stated that an assassin of chaos is going to bring chaos, or gonna bring disorder when the Four Knights are finally assembled. And nothing's really looking good for Xi'an at this point, as with all the pieces of information we have right now, his sneak attack on Gawain, and the fact that he left to dispose of Gawain without Tristan noticing. Now, we've seen in the Four Knights of the Apocalypse before getting to this point that the Knights of Camelot do not believe in the coexistence of all the races and wants the world to be for humans and humans alone. So perhaps Xi'an fully believes in this power, in this ideal, but is with Leonis because he sees something in Tristan, or perhaps he was planted there as a spy to get the dragon handle and also make sure that he impedes Tristan and Leonis from having the upper hand on Arthur and Camelot, thus getting rid of one of the Four Knights, one of Arthur's supposed enemies, when he had the chance, by playing it off as the fact that, this character could be an enemy of Leonis. But it's also the fact that he's also trying to seed doubt in his comrades and even Tristan of the usefulness of the Four Knights. Are they even needed? Are they even necessary? As he views himself as he does seem very self-important, and perhaps is trying to make Tristan very egotistical. But it's not proving so well, as Tristan is kind of humbled, and it could also have to do with the fact that Elizabeth and Meliodas are his parents, and he's also best friends with Lancelot, which really helps humble a person as well as the throwaway line, seemingly that Lancelot is stronger than Tristan at this point, which is pretty interesting. But the Assassin of Chaos bit is very likely, as it does seem like Chion is taking that role in that sneak attack against Gawain in the last chapter. Is he an agent of chaos? We don't know. But he followed Gawain to a secluded spot and is about to seemingly kill him. So everything is falling into place, as all the pieces of information, he's been lying about it to everyone. And he's always been suspicious. He's looked away, his eyes have been covered or have had a haze to them. And he just left Tristan and Jade to look for Gawain when he noticed them. So the pieces keep lying in wait for Xi'an to be the obvious traitor. But it could also be a red herring. The first possibility is that Chion is just super prideful and egotistical about himself and his own beliefs, that he doesn't want to accept anything that could make him or his group seem less effective or less important, especially if he reveres Tristan. So that is a very strong possibility. But again, we're all more or less leaning to the fact that he is an agent of chaos, for all we know, an assassin that is going to bring tragedy to the kingdom, which will also bring the Four Knights together. But we'll just have to wait and see. Right now, there could still be more pieces of information in future chapters, and for all we know, we might even get the reveal of who the traitor is, who stole the dragon handle, or what Xi'an is actually thinking, till in a good number of time later down the road. Or perhaps, like I just mentioned, Xi'an is a red herring and there's another traitor in our midst. But who could that be, and why would they betray Meliodas? But yeah, that's my theory and my overall impressions of Xi'an and why he's potentially a traitor, or he's just doing this for his own sense of pride. But overall, what do you guys think? Do you think Xi'an's a traitor, or do you think he's just super prideful and egotistical to the point of endangering the kingdom for his own personal beliefs? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think is going to happen next? Do you think we're actually going to get the reveal that Xi'an is a traitor? Or do you think someone else is a traitor? Or, the very strange possibility, what if Xi'an and someone else are traitors? That is another interesting idea. But yeah, leave your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. As the channel is growing more and more every day, I cannot wait to reach 2K. I got something planned for 2K. So when I reach that subscriber count, I will announce what I will be doing for that milestone. Also, if you want to see more theories and discussion videos like this in the future, go check out my Patreon and my Ko-fi accounts, as this will help the channel immensely if you can donate or pledge just a little bit every so often. It would be much appreciated. But with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have an awesome day.